You're listening to the Who is Christine Anyway podcast, Season 2. Today's extra special guest is Droobie the Marshmallow. Enjoy.
So do you just spread the whole bag of marshmallows on the counter to let them dry out?
Honestly, I have a bag that's pretty stale, and those are the ones I'll use to create. Once they're created, I don't know how it worked out this way, but they're honestly the perfect creation tool, because once they're created and set, they don't change. They're great. The markers on them stay, the eyes on them stay. They look exactly the same as the time I used them before. And now they're getting to the point where some of the heads are I guess because they're so stale, they're rotating quite nicely on the toothpicks. So I can turn their heads so they can look at other people across sets and stuff. I'm like, this is working out. So I thought I'd have to remake them every time, and this is working out beautifully. So I could not have picked a better material to work with.
You really couldn't have. I mean, clay is interesting, but you'd have to consistently make little marshmallow balls, and it would be marshmallows are great.
Yeah, I tried with Play-Doh, because I this whole thing, the whole social media thing, I was never even really on it before this started, when we had a crazy snowstorm. I think it was a year ago in Canada, and I was snowed in. We couldn't get to work, and it was a week, and I was stuck inside. And I remember just looking off the patio and seeing all these crazy things happen down there, and I was like, I'm gonna recreate some of this stuff with miniature snowmen just for fun. And it blew up. I started remaking skits like Star Wars and Sparta and all these dumb little movie recreations. And then as the snow started to melt, the following that I created was well, what are you going to do now? You got to figure out something else. So I tried Play-Doh, which didn't work. That's the hardest material to work with.
Yeah.
And then I gave marshmallows a try, and then that's where this whole thing started from. And I've had that question a lot, so I'm glad that I got to say it on a podcast, because if anyone listens to this, they're oh, and all those videos are available on the TikTok too. If you scroll all the way back to the bottom, you can see where those things started from. It's pretty hilarious.
I think that's great that you have a whole archival process of your artistic, vision all the way there. And it's funny though, that because a lot of times people trip into these adventures, I call them funny misadventures, because it's not something you ever planned on doing, but you're you know what, this is working out and I'm just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's got to be somewhat cathartic for you personally.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, good on you for getting, the social media. I hope you get monetization from it. I hope you get support from it. I hope, I know there's a lot of people that do really genuinely love your content. So it's the one-liners. I love reading the comments on yours. People love the comments on yours particularly.
Yeah.
Because they're pretty, sometimes those are sharp.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're I mean, it's fun to kind of come up with them and test them out, I guess you could say. I guess I'll throw them into comment sections and stuff and just see how well they do before I'll even put them in a skit. So I've had friends, followers, people that have been in other comments on more famous posts or whatever, and they'll see me in the comment section and be oh, what the hell? It's weird to see you in the wild. And I'm I'm testing things. I'm making sure that people actually see how many people call me hate it versus like it, and then before I throw it into a skit and actually give it a shot. And then there's a lot of stuff that's just regurgitated. There's a lot of dad jokes from my dad used to make fun of me when I was a kid with these sorts of things, is just kidding around. And then I have a friends group chat where we throw different jokes into it on a regular basis. So it's not 100% me, but it's fun to just see the new things come in, and then have this little group effort where everyone just kind of helps out. But recently I've been just kind of taking real life examples. I think the burnt pie one you were talking about, I actually had burnt pie that night, and I'm wow, this sucks. And I'm I wish this would happen to somebody who deserved it. And then I was I'm gonna write that down. So that's how the little X thing came up.
It's perfect. It's funny because everybody knows that I love pie, and I'm oh, how rude. I took it so personal, and I'm I don't deserve burnt pie either. Somebody else does. That needs to be an entire fucking shirt. It's I hope you have burnt pie. Like,
And then I think there was another one too, which was I think it was the Starbucks one where I was like, I hope your Starbucks
yeah.
order is always wrong and you never get to step on a crunchy leaf in the fall. And I was
Hmm.
like, I saw it on an Instagram post. It was just like on my personal account. I was scrolling through and someone had just posted, oh, Starbucks is first of the year. And it was like a fall picture. And I'm like, yo, this needs to get written down.
But it's so funny because obviously where I live, I still get like crunchy maple leaves,
Oh, yeah.
right? So
You're
like
close enough.
I heard that and I was like, oh no, that would be awful. Like that is just
Right?
so satisfying and like so like, oh my God, it's fall. It's time for cider. Like
Yeah.
it's like excuse me, I have to get white girl wasted on vanilla now and like run off of, the way. It's interesting too because there's accounts on Instagram that I follow that I thought were kind of like this really weird correlation with yours. And it was like, they're obviously not, but it's like records with googly eyes. And it's like,
Cool.
have you ever seen it?
No, I haven't.
They just take albums, just regular vinyls,
And they
and
just
they
find
just
places. Googly eyes on their own.
wherever there's a face or an eye, they put a googly eye. And
Oh, just grab a bag of them and take them to the grocery store and just put them on things. Just wait. You can like if you stand around the corner and just kind of wait for a minute, like you put them on a couple avocados and then just go like stand just slightly off the distance and wait for the next person to come to the avocados. Makes your day. 100%.
I think between that and people are going to be like in grocery stores with me and not know it, and all of a sudden they're going to hear like, "God, you Kesha," like out of like nowhere. It's gonna be like the loudest fellow because the music, I swear, goes up and down in volume, and I'm just like, at one point I'm yelling in the phone, and the next minute I'm like soft talking, and then next thing you know, it's like I'm going down. I'm like, no, not me. God damn it, and I'm like trying to do the phone call. It was just the funniest thing, and I was like, ooh, Italian ice right after, and I'm like, oh no. But yeah, so I think it's amazing what you're doing. I think politically, yes, I think it's very funny, very avant-garde, very
Mhm.
artistic, and very, in a way, punk rock. I just think it
Yeah.
is just, there's something about like, and the funny thing is no one ever batted a lash at a single punk rock person before who wore an anarchy thing. I mean, I'm sure they did. And of course there
Yeah.
was adversity, but it was never this level that if you voiced your opinion online, that the backlash would be
Yeah.
catastrophic. So I love that you are not only taking head on with politics, I also love the fact that you're taking on other like things that are going on in the world that people might trip on. And it keeps them up at night. It makes them
Mhm.
nervous. It makes them scared. And I think when you humanize it or dehumanize it
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
and make it like little marshmallows that are just kind of like, look, it's not so scary now. It can all just be fixed with a s'more. And you just
Yeah.
like, problem
Yeah.
solved.
And
So
there is backlash and stuff too that comes from it. Like obviously there's the other side who you get some nasty comments and some things that people just you don't even know how a human could say it, but they do.
you can't make everybody happy. Like you just
No,
can't.
100%. Yeah. I
And
struggle with that
you
too. Like I'm a perfectionist and then when I see like bad comments and stuff, I'm like, ugh. But then for the most part I can block it out. But when someone says something like generally
yeah,
horrible, I'm gonna be
yeah.
like, you know what? Like I started on the page and at least in the stories calling it Duster of the Day, where I start picking out these people, and then the followers will go and send like they'll just go and meme this page with marshmallows. It'll just be marshmallow memes with like the DJ pointing at you and dancing, or like little marshmallow s'mores jumping around or whatever. And I think ultimately I've scared a few people out of just saying negative shit on the page for the most part. I'm like, if you can't appreciate the comedy, then it's really easy to just use your thumb and scroll up. You can just switch and go to
I
the next skit.
have, yeah. I mean, I have actually performance anxiety, which makes stand-up comedy even funnier, but it's actually kind of hilarious. And the fact that I work in music industry, which is even funnier than that. But I find that when you get pushback like that, it means you're doing something right overall.
Hmm.
If you're making
Yeah.
someone uncomfortable. And the thing is when someone's uncomfortable, that is a great opportunity to begin the conversation. But the problem is obviously they're never going to be receptive to it in the jump. They're just
Oh
never.
no, no.
So it's always going to be one of those things where when you enter these conversations, you almost have to come down to, I don't want to say come down to their level because maybe they're above your level, whatever. You have to meet them where they're at. That's the best term to go with.
Yep.
And you have to say, hey, if you feel like it applies to you, maybe it does.
Yeah.
like that's the whole. I mean, like my grandmother used to tell me that all the time. She goes, "Are you offended?" And it's like, "Yeah." And she goes, "Then stop being that."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's that's them. When it comes to you, if it becomes hurtful to you, like there's been times, and I won't lie, there's been times during my career where like I end up in situations where it's like power struggles with certain
Okay.
people, and like they'll like getting a text or an email at a certain hour will like legit throw me into a panic attack, not
Mm.
because of anything other than I was decompressed and then someone poked that.
Yeah, I hear you.
And it was like, oh my
Timing.
God. Yeah, it's all timing and it's
Yeah.
adrenaline. And it's one of those things where it's like, it'll keep you up at night. But at the same time, if you weren't doing something right, you wouldn't be getting so much of a stir. And regardless, any negative comment kind of works in your favor in terms of algorithms,
Oh
including
yeah.
saves. So,
Yeah.
I
And like
mean,
some of them worked out pretty funny too. Like I've had some of the DMs I've got. Well, there's horrible DMs too, but there's been a few people who have just thrown an insult out, like a single clever insult from like the like a Trump supporter, for example. And
that's going to be like, where'd they
if
get
it's
it?
if it's
Like,
clever enough, like for the most part, I'll just ignore them. But if it's clever enough, I'll be like, hey, and I'll throw one back. And like we've done, I think this one guy, I went back and forth with them for like 10 insults, just like clever, funny insults, because that's the page comedy. If I can't recognize page comedy coming through
right.
as from their side, then what am I even doing here? But we
Yeah.
did that for like back and forth, like 10 of them, and I think I even like wrote a couple down. And then by the time it was done, he was just like truce, and I'm like, hell yeah, truce. So like that was amazing.
But
But
somehow it's works like that. But
we found our own communication through that, and nothing productive whatsoever. But we were like, by the time it was done, we had this weird kind of respect for each other, and it was like we both just went on our way. And I was
then
like,
that was productive.
amazing. It was
That
good. Yeah.
that is productive then. If you are able to both leave the conversation and go, truce, that's productivity because he obviously came to that page with one notion in mind.
Yeah.
And it's, I'm going to do this. And then he left the page with, actually, that guy's kind of funny. I'm going to leave. So you took him from red to yellow.
At least in that moment, and
Yeah.
that's a win, right?
So he's probably, I mean, there's probably been times in his mind where he's been like, maybe they're not all like that. And if you can invoke that type of thought in someone where they're like, maybe, that's critical thinking. And that's what
Yeah.
is lacking a lot of. So if we can get more people, even if it's coming together over insulting, and it's kind of one of those things, it's like having a sibling, where it's like, yeah, well, you fucking suck. Well, you're fucking awful too. And, you start getting back and forth at each other. And then pretty soon you're just kind of snarling at each other and you're going, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then
And
later
it's a
on.
story that gets told at your wedding. Yeah.
Yeah, it ends up being like one of those things. So it's kind of like one of those things where we're all kind of pissed. We all need to kind of let it off and let it go. We're obviously not going to hug it out. So if we need to all kind of do what the cicadas do and go into a field and scream, then we meet at dusk.
Yeah. Might as well, yeah.
Yeah. So I am so proud of everything you've done. And I think you're doing marvelous things. I love popping into there. And yeah, I read the comments too, but I think there's been so many times I've shared your videos with people just because they are hilarious. Just hilarious. In a world that is so laden with like, I feel like it's fearful right now for everybody as a whole. So nobody wants to go into World War III. Nobody wants to be scared. Nobody wants to be deported. Everybody's terrified. So
I see it.
what you're doing, as edgy as it is, and it is very edgy, is actually contributing to society in a very positive way.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. That gives me motivation to keep doing it.
I would keep doing it. I would keep doing it every day.
Yeah.
Twice
Yeah,
on Sunday. Like
it's hard not to when you see the content come out, especially or when you see like the news headlines and stuff come out. You're like, well, I'm gonna go grab some marshmallows because this needs to be talked about. It's out of my control at this point.
I just imagine your poor girlfriend's just like, again, marshmallows. I sent you for eggs.
Yeah, that was a funny conversation at the start of it too. 'Cause when we first started dating, I was doing them, but it wasn't to this level. So it came up.
How
I'm
did
like,
you segue into that? Be like, so I have this thing with marshmallows.
yeah, literally. I was like, I have a weird hobby, and I told her about it, and she like didn't really say much. And then like later, like after we had some good dates, and we ended up, like officially becoming boyfriend and
Yeah.
girlfriend, and going on. She's like, I genuinely thought that was like nuts when you said it. Like, just like I couldn't really believe it. She's like, now it makes a lot of sense.
So she's like just laying there like, so this is legit. Like,
Yeah.
this
And now she sees
marshmallow
what it's
thing,
like
huh?
become now at this whole thing, and she's just like, whatever, just do what you got to do.
Well,
This
she's
is absolutely
awesome. She's
ridiculous.
awesome for going along with it. And
Yeah.
it's got to be, I mean, it's got to be so fun to watch the entire ride for her. And I mean, it's got to be stressful at times too. So, I mean,
Oh yeah.
I commend her also for, I mean, it's never easy to be the partner of an artist. So, I mean, bravo to her, all the applause in the world, especially like if you're waking up in the middle of the night, you're like, I just got to write down this thing I dreamt about. Like,
I
insanity.
test all the jokes on her and stuff too to see if she likes them and stuff, just to make sure. I'm like, is this funny? If I say this, would you think that I was an asshole,
So,
or do you
how
think we
did
can kind of
Bleach
laugh a little
Demon
bit?
go over?
No, 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 no. I'm not like calling her the names. I'm just like straight up asking her, "Is this funny?" And then like I'll say it out of context, then I'll have to use the voices, and then
I'm
it's
sorry. If
I'm
I
sure
got,
she thinks I'm like clinically insane by this point.
I don't know if I walked in the door and like some dude was just standing there and just looked at me and went, Bleach Demon. I'd be like, what the fuck? I
But you know
birthed
what's
this pie
worse?
for
You
you.
walk in the door and someone's got a whole marshmallow skit set up on the kitchen table, and I'm just like sitting there moving them around like I'm normal. Don't even look twice at this.
It's you that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
get that marshmallow over there. We got movies to make.
Can you move the stick for me while I use the camera?
Yeah. But oh my god, just don't ever stop laughing. And like I said, don't take it all so seriously. Nobody gets out alive, and
Yeah.
God, please do keep doing these. Like, these are just, as
I will
somebody on the
keep
other
them
side of the
coming.
border, please keep doing these because sometimes they get people through a pretty shitty day.
Yeah.
So,
That's- I will not
and
stop. It's entertaining, and honestly, I find enjoyment in it now. So um, I don't think that I could see myself stopping anytime soon. It's just it's fun, and I feel like the feedback I'm getting makes it worth it.
I hope someday you cross the threshold into doing stand-up comedy.
Oh my god.
I really do. I mean,
Oh, that would be tough.
we've got like John and Kate plus hate going on down here. So I don't know what to.
Yeah.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah.
So you do you. Thank you for coming on here. It's been so great catching up with you and hearing some of your story and just laughing. And I never talk politics. I really do try to veer away from it because I really do accept everybody for whatever political party they're in, as long as they're not a fascist piece of shit.
Yeah, of course you should.
Or harming anybody in any particular way, or like I said, humanism is the cool thing. Like, don't be a shit, and I'm
Yep.
totally cool with you. So this is probably the most political anyone's ever particularly heard me that knows me via the podcast alone, which is,
Good.
and
The
I,
marshmallows
and
are working.
yeah, they're working, and I'm not hiding my face. This is either a great idea or a bad idea, but I'm here for it either way. And I hope you nothing but success.
Thank you so much,
Truly.
and thank you for having me on here. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And we'll catch up again soon. Again,
Cool.
I'm
Whenever
sure.
you want.
All right. I will talk to you later. Okay. All right. Take
Talk to
care.
you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
A huge thanks to our extra special guest, Droobie the Marshmallow. Be sure to check him out online. You won't regret it. Visit www.whoischristineanyway.com for access to all the social media links and additional podcast episodes.